Welcome back to our channel. I'm Lex, and today I'm going to be weighing in about my running experience, my recent 5K, and maybe tips and tricks that I have if you're starting running, just with the little amount of experience that I do have. So I want to start with the beginning of my whole running adventures. So I was never a person who ran a lot in high school. Sometimes I would run on the track after school just because for exercise. I would jog a few times around and then walk a few times around. I never seriously trained for anything. I was never on the cross country team, although maybe it would have been cool if I was, but I never did. So the first 5K that I actually ever ran in my whole life was in high school. My church was having one to support some people who needed to buy an accessible van for their son. So I decided to go ahead and run it. And I had no official 5K training or anything built in, so I just did the best job that I could. And I was 16 years old, so I was young and probably more fit then. But that 5K, I did it in about 40 minutes, around about. And so, I don't know if that was really good or not at the time. I didn't really know much about running, but that was my time. Fast forward. I didn't run anymore for a really long time. And then I started doing yoga a few months ago when we started on this whole journey as my exercise. And then once my energy levels got back up, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to incorporate running back into my routine. And I say back because in November of last year, I did my first 5K as an adult, not a teenager. And it was called the Running of the Elves. And I did it with Vivian and another friend. And I had been training for that. So my plan for that was to use the app Couch to 5K. So 8 weeks exactly before the race was to happen, I started Couch to 5K, which is exactly how long the program is on the app. So after I ran that 5K in November, I was really motivated to train for another one. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the Couch to 5K app and I'm going to start kind of where I left off, which was around week 7 or so. I was like, I'll just redo week 7 and week 8. In order to train, I'll do those over and over again until I get to the next 5K. And so the next 5K that I signed up for was a St. Patrick's Day themed one. And I was training for it and getting ready and everything was going well. And then COVID hit. So it got canceled. And, they put it as a virtual 5K at that point. And I was like, you know what? I had already done it virtually, technically, during training. I had already run it full 3 miles through during training. So I was like, I'm not even going to run it virtually and submit my results. So I didn't do that one. And that's where my training fell off.
Y'all, I just got out here and jogged a mile, and I'm proud of myself. I had 12 minutes, 1 second. That was my pace, and I haven't trained for a 5K since March, and it's November. So it's been a few months since I was doing training. The last 5K I was supposed to run was the St. Patrick's Day one, and it got canceled because of COVID. So for me to come out here and just straight jog a mile shows that training is still there. So thanks, Couch to 5K.
So I ran this morning at 8:45 a.m.
Well, I just finished my Turkey Trot 5K and I did it in 37 minutes according to my Apple Watch. I have to check my official time when it comes out on the website. But that's a sub 40-minute 5K, which I've never done before. The last one I ran, it was 40 something. So I jogged the first mile completely, walked a tiny strip, jogged the second mile, walked a strip, and then jogged the whole third mile. So it was tough, but I did it, and I'm proud of myself. All right, I'm gonna go eat some turkey now.
So right here, I just wanted to mention that the race was really well socially distanced. They had us spaced out with these cones that you can see behind me, and they made us all wear our masks until we crossed the starting line. So kudos to the people who started the race. They did a great job at making us socially distanced. And so that's my best yet. Yay! That's sub 40 minutes, which was my next big goal was to hit a 5K in under 40 minutes. And I did it. The next goal would be under 30, but I'm going to have to shave off a lot of time for that one. So there's still some training left to do until I can get sub 30 minutes, which would be a huge accomplishment. But I'm really proud of myself for running it in under with only 3 weeks of training since I started at the beginning of the year. Now let's get into like some of my tips and some of the things that I kind of experienced over all of this training for the last year-ish, because I took off some months in the middle. But starting out, I weighed 30 pounds more when I started last year than I do now. And so I can say that losing weight has made running a lot easier for me. If you are like me and you're overweight when you start running, it may be a little more difficult at first. But if you're on a journey to lose weight, as you lose weight, it does get easier. And I felt that in this 5K, it was easier for me to push myself for longer distances, just because it's easier to propel 191 pounds forward than it is to propel 221 pounds forward. Guess my drift. So losing weight definitely helped. If you are severely overweight, I would recommend that you start with walking, just for the sake of your joints. So, the more weight that you're carrying, the harder it is on your joints. So, I would recommend walking at first, making sure you get some really good shoes, which I'll kind of go over my shoe recommendations in a minute too, but making sure you get some good shoes that support your feet. And then, start with walking. As you lose weight, you can start increasing that program. Make sure you're doing this safely when you start out. Second is shoes. Shoes make a big difference. And, for some reason, like at the beginning, I didn't really think about like my footwear and how important it is to have a really supportive shoe. Then I started watching a ton of YouTube videos about running so that I could inform myself on like form and all this other stuff. And of course, in those videos, they talk about gear. I will link some of those channels in the description if you want to, so that you can check them out. And they have all kinds of great tips about your form and increasing your speed and like all the different things about runners. There's like a whole culture with runners that I didn't know existed before I started watching those videos. But as far as shoes, so I started running with just some like basic Nike tennis shoes, which was fine. And my feet didn't hurt or anything, but my shoes also weren't helping me in any way. So I started, watching those videos and doing a lot of research online on forums and stuff about what shoes are best for running. And I came across the company Brooks. A lot of people recommended Brooks running shoes. And so I went on the website and I checked them out, and I was kind of in sticker shock. So Brooks are a little expensive. They're $120 a pair about. I think some can be more, some can be less. But that's how much the ones that I bought were. But I can say that they were worth it. That's probably the most money I've ever spent on a pair of shoes. I know I'm probably just cheap, and other people spend more than $120 on a pair of shoes. But for me, like, that was a lot. My normal tennis shoes cost like $50 to $80, depending on the style. So $120 pair of shoes was a little pricey. But, I bit the bullet. I spent the money. I got the shoes, and I was very impressed. Their quality, they are so supportive. They make the impact on your foot absorb more evenly. Like, it just makes the whole running experience so much more comfortable. So when you go on their website, they actually have a little quiz that you can take that will tell you the best shoe they recommend for your needs. And so I think the kind that I got is the Ghost. Let me go get one of my shoes. All right, and I'm back. So I got one of my pairs of shoes, and I was correct. It is the Ghost. So there it is on the Ghost 12 is the style that I have. And if you look at the side, it says Brooks. And I got the New York ones. So it has like the Statue of Liberty on the front. Statue of the Liberty. And then all kinds of little New York stuff around the shoe. They're kind of cool. You can see they're kind of dirty. They are well used. I use these just for running. So I don't wear these like out on the town or just around. I only use them when I'm training. So they'll last me because they were pricey, but they do make a huge difference. So if you look at the shape of the shoe, the heel is like rounded so that when you're coming down with your steps, see how it kind of picks up a little bit in the back. It makes it an easier transition when your heel comes down, even though you shouldn't be heel striking, which is something you should look up on those running videos. It does make the impact easier. And then, that's the bottom of the shoe, so you can kind of see the grip and stuff on how it opens up, and it kind of is separated. So again, the impact is a little more smooth when you come down on it. But they definitely make a difference, and I would recommend them. And of course, everybody's feet are different. So you might get Brooks and you might hate them, or you might get Brooks and you love them, or Nikes work better for you. Find the shoe that fits your foot and makes your running experience the best for you. There are also stores that specialize in fitting you for running shoes. So I would recommend also, if you have one of those stores, normally I think it's a free consultation for them to look at your feet and then suggest your shoe. So why not? If you don't want to do that though, like I said, the Brooks website has a little quiz for you to take so that you can kind of figure it out on your own and then order it. And of course, if they don't work out, you can also return them. But those are my running shoe tips. So make sure you get a good foot that is going to make your running experience the best. I think I said good foot. Make sure you get a good shoe and a good foot. The third thing I want to talk about is that you don't really need any other special gear for running other than just making sure you have a quality shoe. You don't need fancy workout clothes. You don't need an Apple Watch. You don't need fancy earbuds. You don't need fancy sunglasses. You just need a good pair of shoes, and a place to run. That's it. The fancy stuff kind of helps. I use my Apple Watch just to keep track of my mile time and just to time my workouts, to see how I did. But you don't need that. You know what I mean? You could look at your watch, and if you started at 12 o'clock, see how, if it takes you 3 loops to finish a mile, once you're done your 3rd loop, look at your watch and see what time you got on there. And you can time yourself that way. You don't have to start out with super fancy gear. As for earbuds, I just run with regular old iPhone earbuds. No AirPods, no fancy stuff. And then my choice of bottoms for running is leggings. I find that no chafing happens for me when I run with leggings on, because they fully cover in their compression leggings and they go all the way down. So just make sure you get comfortable workout clothes and a good pair of shoes and get out there. My 4th tip to you would be run outside, especially if you're going to train for a 5K. If you're just running to run, then treadmill is probably fine, if you have a gym membership or something. But if you can run on the ground outside, or if they have an indoor track at your gym that you can run on actual floor, do it. It's very different running on a treadmill than it is running outside. I guarantee it. So I think that's all the advice I have for today. I hope you enjoy watching me run my 5K, and I hope you celebrate along with me as I can get my mile faster and run more 5Ks. Maybe one day I'll start training for that 10K and then maybe a half marathon. That would absolutely blow my mind if one day I was training for a half marathon. But until then, get out there and run, and I hope you have a great experience, or just find a workout that you love. I found running and I really love it, and I love improving at it. So find something that you love to do, but if you want to run, give it a try. I think it's really worth it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.